SRO Magazine, your number one source for music and entertainment news and interviews. SRO.
Hello, SRO Nation. This is your metal journalist, Big Mac, coming to you, and we got a great interview set up. We are talking with the man who broke a lot of wrestlers' backs with his walls of Jericho to get all the way to the top of the WWE, and he's fronting one of the most exciting metal bands out there and celebrating their newest release, Do You Want to Start a War? So help me welcome the frontman of FOZZY, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho. What's up, Chris?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. How you doing today?
Good, man. Just rocking. Always rocking.
Well, that's good. You have a reason to rock because your album, Do You Want to Start a War, just debuted at number 54, your highest debut as of yet. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it was really cool. Number 54 on the Billboard Top 200, and just a huge buzz surrounding the record. Overall, overwhelmingly positive reviews. It's been really, it's been a really good time. You know, when you put all the time and effort into doing a new record, writing it, recording it, you know, mixing, mastering it, promoting it, and then you know, when it finally comes out, kind of waiting in the wings to see if people agree with you that it's the best thing you've ever done. It's cool when they actually do. So it's been a good couple weeks for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of great tracks on here. I mean, I've listened to this album through and through 3 times, and I never got tired of it at all. And this is by far your most mainstream release since the last one, Sin and Bones. What was the recording process like? How was it different from the past ones?
Well, I mean, when I say mainstream, I say diverse. I mean, it's a real diverse collection of songs, and I think the idea behind the writing of this record, and obviously the recording as well, is that the only rule was there are no rules. And we didn't want to have to worry about what the conventional, you know, hard rock heavy metal band would do. You know, is this song too heavy? Is it too you know, mainstream? Is it too pop based? Is it too dancey? Is it too thrashy? Let's not worry about what it is as far as the individual songs. Let's just make sure it's a good song. And if it's a good song, we're going to record it. And that's basically what we did. You know, we love bands like Queen that back, you know, in the 70s. But every record was different from the last, but it was still very much a Queen record or a Beatles record or a Pink Floyd, or even Guns N' Roses experimented with that, and Metallica in the 90s. You know, there was no real rules over, oh, this is not a FOZZY song. All the songs are FOZZY songs because I'm singing them and Rich is playing guitar and Frank's playing drum.
Well, it was well, I can definitely see it was really diverse because you had like a lot of different elements in there. You had rock and roll, you had a little bit of pop in there, and you know, you really had a good mixture in there. What would you say was?
And the thing is, too, is, you know, what's a pop song? What's a thrash song? What's a reggae song? It all boils down to the melody and the chorus. And if it's something that's catchy and sticks in your head, it's a good song. Whether you add double kick drums and a thrash guitar riff, or whether you add congos and a flute riff, it's still a good song, and that's all that matters. That's kind of when we stripped it down. Each one of these songs it has a great melody and a great hook and a great chorus, and that's what we were going for.
Well, it definitely worked to your advantage. And one of your songs, Lights Go Out, is actually going to be one of the theme songs, or if not the theme song, for the upcoming WrestleMania. Not WrestleMania, excuse me, SummerSlam. How's it feel knowing that your song got picked for that?
Well, I mean, it's great. It's just another side effect of having a song that's, you know, number 34 on the charts. You know, it's our first top 40 song, and you know, it's getting play everywhere, which is amazing. It's really kind of broken down a lot of doors for us, and it's still climbing, it's still growing. And you know, to be the theme of SummerSlam is you know, it's a great honor, and it's just another way to get your music out there and have people hear that chorus every 4, 5, 6 times a week on WWE programming. So it's a great way to market the new song and get it out there for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And for guest appearances, like on the last album, Sin and Bones, you had M Shadows come on for Sandpaper, and on this one, you actually have Michael Starr on for tonight. How'd you get him involved?
Yeah, well, we toured with Steel Panther back in December in Australia. We had a great tour, great group of guys. Really got along well. And they're great musicians too. They're top-notch musicians. And Mike's a great singer. And he just simply asked, "Said I want to be on the next FOZZY record." And we're like, "All right." So whenever we have people that we want to work with, sometimes we work with them, sometimes we don't. It all depends on what kind of song that we have that may or may not fit that person. And said that Mike would be perfect on tonight. It's very heavy power pop type of a song, like Cheap Trick on steroids or something like that. And that's kind of what Steel Panther's all about as well. So he fit the song great, sang it amazingly, and he did such a great job that we actually gave him more lines to sing. So yeah, it's another in a long list of the fine FOZZY tradition of having cool guests on the record.
Well, hey, yeah, he was a good choice for sure. I mean, he really did a fantastic job doing some vocals with you, and Steel Panther is actually on its way to becoming a really recognizable glam metal band, not just as a comedy band. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's how you guys kind of started out as well. FOZZY was originally called Fozzy Osbourne, and you were something of, I guess you would call it a joke cover metal band. You did a lot of cover tunes from different artists, but then you kind of just started to do your own stuff, and people were responding to amazing feedback. I mean, is that what you really expected out of FOZZY, to come out of it from being a joke band to becoming like the next big thing in metal?
Well, I mean, it was, I don't know if joke is the right word, because it was just more of the original incarnation of the band was more of a cover band and more of just a fun thing. But the music was always good. The players were always great. And that was very early in the band's, history. So after 2 years of doing that, we started doing our own stuff, and it's been basically 10 years of doing our own stuff since then. So, every band has to evolve, and every band grows, and every band changes who they are and really figures out what their sound is the longer they stay together. So we're just another example of that.
Oh yeah, and I don't mean like joke as in you were making it a joke, because I read it somewhere because it was kind of like a comedy rock band as well, because
it was in a lot of ways. It's the original Steel Panther, like you said, yeah. But that was a very short time. Like I said, it was 2 years. I think from 2000 to 2002 we did that. Here we are in 2014. That's our sixth record. So it's been a while since we were since our beginnings, since our humble beginnings.
Yeah, and this is actually your second record with the lineup that you have right now, with Paul DeLeo on bass and Bill Gray on rhythm guitar, and Frank Fon. I may say his last name wrong. Fonser, did I say it right? Fonser, right. This is your second record with this lineup. How does this lineup compare to like the first one that you started out with Rich Ward?
Well, the core of the band's always the same. I mean, Rich and Frank and I have been playing on every record and been there from the start. And Billy and Paulie joined 4 or 5 years ago. And when you're on the road, it's important to have the right lineup, not just from a player standpoint, from a personality standpoint, and from a showmanship standpoint. We put on a very energetic, entertaining live show, and we have to have guys that are like that on stage. And Billy and Paulie definitely fit what Frank and Rich and I are doing. But more importantly, just as guys, you got to have the right guys, because you spend a lot of time together, on the bus and the road and over in different countries. And if you don't like somebody or have some kind of a personality clash, it's never going to be a good ending. You got to have, like I said, it really is a family environment. You have to enjoy each other's company, and if you don't, it's not going to last. There's going to be a lot of issues and a lot of arguments, and we spent a long time to find the right lineup of guys, and we've got that lineup. So it's a pretty good feeling to know you've got your 4 of your best friends in the world. Everyone gets along. Great musicians, great players, and great showmen. And to know that you can go out there and whip anybody's ass any night. That's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, listening to this album, you can definitely feel the chemistry in this band, and that's really important in a band today, to really be collective as one. The most
important thing is chemistry. It's like a winning football team or a winning hockey team. You could stack the deck, sign all the greatest free agents. It doesn't necessarily mean you have the best team. You need guys that are the goal scorers. You need guys that can kill penalties. You need guys that can, play one shift period, but really whip some ass during that shift. And that's what a good band is like. Everybody has to know what they do best and know what they don't do best and not worry about that. Let the other guys pick up the slack in those areas. So, we have a great team. That's what you need to win.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned hockey. I'm still a little, I'm a Ducks fan, and I was still a little sad by the fact that we got beaten by LA's.
Well, at least LA won the cup. You know what I mean? It's all. If you get beaten by the champions, that's it's better than getting beaten and losing to somebody who's out the next round as well.
Yeah, that is. I guess that's a good way of putting it. I'll make sure I tell my best friend that. The Sun Scarecrow, I actually liked that one. It's got a pop melody in there, but towards the end, there was somebody in there who was like doing the growling voice for like saying Scarecrow, kind of like a death metal sort of thing. Who was doing that? I couldn't find out who was doing that.
That's Rich. Yeah, that's a Rich Ward trademark. Every FOZZY record has elements of that ever since the start, and that's an interesting song. I mean, I really like it. It throws some people for a loop. It's very different from everything else in the record. I mean, it's heavy, it's dark, it's evil, it's uplifting. It's got this great kind of three-part harmony chorus, and then a crazy kind of a death metal dirge-like chant ringing throughout, and then that riff it's just one chord, bow, bow. Like I think there's 8 or 10 guitars kind of stacked on top of that, just make it super duper heavy. So it's a really cool song, man. It's one of the most unique ones and a real standout for me on the record for sure.
Yeah, speaking of unique songs, one of the most unique songs on this record is SOS, and I don't know if anybody who's listening out there knows this. SOS is actually originally an ABBA song. Why pick that song, especially from the disco kings and queens of the 70s?
Well, that's exactly why. It's something you would never expect a hard rock band to do, and we were listening to music after a show in Leipzig, Germany. Had it on shuffle, that song came on, and I remember Rich and I were just like, oh my gosh, this would be a great song to do as a cover. It's very dark, very almost depressing with the lyrics. There's some crazy riffage in there. There's a kind of an Ingrid Malmsteen part right before the chorus that we thought would be great to triple with keyboards, bass, and guitar, which sounded amazing. And once again, it's just something you wouldn't expect, and that's why we did it, and that's why we like it, and that's why it's one of the most talked about songs on the record. Everybody mentions it in the interviews that we do because it's so out of left field and so unexpected. And once again, that's why it works so well.
Yeah, since it's getting a good feedback from people and all, is there a chance you're going to be playing this live?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, excellent.
And then when you start playing it, everybody's like, oh, that sounds familiar. And then it's like, no, it could. And then when finally the chorus kicks in, everybody realizes what it is, and it's like, wow, this is very, very cool. And like I said, it lends itself to a heavy rendition for sure. I'm surprised nobody's covered it in the past.
Well, I mean, you have to understand, this was during disco, and a lot of people weren't fans of discos, and like you said, you did something that was totally left field, and not many metal acts out there would want to cover ABBA.
Once again, a good song is a good song, and whether it's disco or death.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you guys are about to go on the road pretty soon with Theory of a Dead Man. How'd you get involved with those guys? Did your label companies set it all up?
We have the same booking agent. You know, when you're in a band, you have your record label, and you have your booking agent. That's the guys that are responsible for booking tours. And they work with Theory of a Dead Man. I thought it'd be a good mix, and we were able to figure it out, work it out. We're excited, man. It's going to be a huge tour, and we're really looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys got a hit record, and they have a hit record that just came out, Savages, and that's actually been getting a lot of good buzz as well. So that's pretty exciting that you guys are definitely going to be out there promoting such great records.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it's all about. You know, in this day and age, there's so many bands touring, so many bands on the road. You want to put together the best package possible, that the fans get the best value, and you know, have the best entertainment, factor, and the best as far as songs that are hot, good songs. And so it's just a good package. We're excited about it.
All right, we got time for 2 more questions. Is there a chance that at SummerSlam, FOZZY might be performing Lights Out Live or Lights Go Out? Excuse me.
Yeah, I could never do that since I'm wrestling. It's too hard to do. Can't do them both at the same time. So I'll be happy and satisfied just with having the song as the theme. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, just basically you just want to kick the crap out of Bray Wyatt.
Well, you just can't. I mean, you can't split yourself like that. I can't worry about all the details and all the preparation that goes into having a match, and then worry about all the details on the preparation that goes into playing live too. Mentally it's very hard to do both.
Oh, I understand. Well, we can definitely be looking forward to hearing that song over the PA. So,
absolutely.
And final question, I always like to ask this one of my interviewers, just to kind of keep it interesting. It's a weird question, and it's out in left field. So here it goes. Beatles or Rolling Stones?
Well, 10 years ago I would have said Beatles and fought to the death that it was the Beatles. Now I'm kind of conflicted. I really started getting to the Stones over the last 3 or 4 years and really started understanding how amazing they are. Not that I didn't think that, but I just always Beatles. But, it's a real close race. And I would say probably it's hard because the Beatles were only there for 10 years. And, basically everything they did was great. Stones have had 50 years of experience, and any band that has 50 years is going to have ups and downs. So I think creatively and as far as trailblazing and as far as pioneers, I think the Beatles can't be beat. I think they're the most amazing, creative, original, unique, unbelievable band of all time. But if you're going for the greatest rock and roll band of all time, you got to say the Stones because it's been 50 years of amazing performances. So creatively, Beatles. Historically and longevity-wise, so.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's always been a conflicting thing for me because my mom got me into the Beatles, and I've always been a kind of a Stones person because they just had a lot of different songs, and they've been around longer, so they were able to bring out new stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, exactly. Some of it's not great, but that's what happens, like I said, we're 50 years in. So definitely the 2 best of all time, no matter what side of the coin you're on.
Well, that's excellent. Well, Chris Jericho, thank you very much for taking time to speak with SRO. And as of right now, SRO is Jericho.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. All right, guys, that was Chris Jericho of FOZZY. Don't forget to go pick up his band FOZZY's newest release, Do You Want to Start a War, featuring great tracks on here, including the title track, Bad Tattoo, Scarecrow, and the ever-popular Lights Go Out. And if you go and buy it from Best Buy right now, for a limited time, you can get yourself a limited edition FOZZY bandana. It's actually a pretty cool bandana. You can always follow FOZZY on Twitter, Facebook, and go on their official website, FOZZYRocks.com, for upcoming tour dates. You can always, and if you guys are wrestling fans, you can make sure you tune in on WWE Network for WWE's SummerSlam and wherever Raw comes to your town. Make sure you go there if you want to watch him. So this is Brandon McCarthy for SRO Magazine, and you can also get all our past interviews as well, and other writers' interviews and reviews as well on sromaginc.com. That's sromaginc.com. And you guys have yourselves a rocked out day. Horns up, people.
For more information on all the greatest bands in rock today, and for all your music and entertainment news, you know where to go. Go to SRO. That's SROMagInc.com. SRO Magazine is sponsored by Kick-Ass Cables, PhDRadio.com, Robert's Guitar, TDLMusicGroup.com. The SRO audio and video was done by Carson Drive Studios and SROMagInc.com.